All right, guys, so we're moving some of the shop cars out to show you a new project that we recently got. So let's come have a look. Yep, door doesn't work. Makes sense. It's E36 things. This will be graceful. Yep. Just getting in my E36. Oh, that's graceful. All right. So you can't get in and you can't get out, but it's $600. Well, let's take it inside and see what you can get for $600. Can't be that bad. Better not close this, I won't be able to get out. All right, guys, so like I said, we managed to pay $600 for a 93 325 IS. Actually, it's manual, so it's actually not a bad base car to start, and we basically wanted to redo our drift car with everything that we've learned for Drift Car V2. A dramatic effect, got explosions. So, like we said, we managed to get a drift car for the E36. I automatically told you guys it was gonna be a drift car. Yeah, what else would it be for $600 but a drift missile? So we're basically gonna try to do what we did with the first one, but learning a little bit and actually being able to put out a little bit more drift parts. So look out for the hydros, bash bars, all that stuff. But in order for us to really know what we're doing, we're gonna have to develop our own in Drift Car V2. So it's actually not a bad car for $600. Yes, it's got its issues, you know, all the same stuff that all the E36 do, like can getting in and bad battery and all the other stuff. But for $600, we're basically want to do a very high-end drift build, very similar to what we did the first time, but this time polishing it up and actually putting out some of the products that we were testing, you know, like a wide-angle kit, a hydro, and some other stuff. Maybe the bash bar will come back, but we're basically gonna start by just getting a couple things done on it, maintenance, and there's no shortage of stuff that we can start. So let's just see how far we get.
Dude, what is that? What is
This,
that?
I don't know. It's $600, okay, it's fine, it's fine.
They did it.
No, it's gonna be a standalone harness on this one for sure. I'm not gonna fight it on this one. All right, so it's obviously got the same issue all the other cars have, getting in, getting out. All right, we'll see, maybe we can make something cool that would actually work better than that. But this window doesn't go down. Obviously the door panels self-destruct, just like our other one. Usual ripped seats. It's manual, that's good. Okay, now we got power seats. We got power seats.
Nice!
Oh, the handle to get in the back is gone. Yeah, usual stuff. So usual tragic E36 interior quality. Obviously those pillar panels, one's gone completely. One's kind of just chilling over there. This thing's falling apart. Air conditioning works somehow. I don't know how. Got your little surface rust. Sunroof, I don't know. Let's see if it works. I don't know. Okay, sort of works. Wouldn't touch it again. Very sketchy. It's probably not waterproof.
What about the motor?
Let's find out. Oh, I can't get in. Right. Insert B-roll. Stand by. I think we're just making a how he is an E36 video.
Yep, like that, and then went down.
Go.
Oh. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. You have to, a cooler one. It's there. Looks like you got BOV Auto Sport coil packs, K&N AutoZone special filter, but seems to be there. Obviously the cooling system needs some work. It's like the reservoir here is like leaking and stuff. So yeah, she needs some maintenance, that's for sure, but she was running, you know? So I think for a drift car, I'd love to try LS again, but we'll see.
And what motor is this?
This should be M50. Is it M52 or is it M50?
M50, right?
But it's non-Vanos. I'm sorry, it has Vanos. So is it M50 Vanos? Hey Gus, is this an M50? M52? Because it has Vanos. Yeah. Oh, so, okay.
This is M50 manifold, but you can have a single Vanos. And green,
right here.
green injectors indicate M50.
I'll tell you right here too.
Right? 2.5.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But you can have a single Vanos M50. They make non-Vanos, single Vanos, and then you get to M52 from 96 up. And that's where they go 328s. They changed the actual like body name.
We have a BMW motor that leaks oil, like they all do. That's what we have. That's what we have. So obviously, it's clearly an M52. You got your green injectors. Oh, I said it was M52. So obviously, it's an M50 non-Vanos. You can tell by the green injectors.
It's single Vanos.
So obviously, it's an M50 single Vanos. You can tell by the green injectors. Just use it.
Obviously.
M50s will have cast exhaust manifolds. They'll have the bigger intake manifold and green top injectors.
That's the intake manifold you want anyway.
Yeah. A lot of M52 guys use the M50 manifold.
Maybe we go turbo instead of LS.
Yeah, turbo works.
He's gonna help us build this. That was the sound of enthusiasm. So it looks like the radiator bracket's already missing, so that could be our first mod. So these are usually plastic anyway, and they either obviously missing or they're broken. So we make billet ones. First mod that we're gonna do. All right, so we got a couple choices. We got red, we got black, and we got clear anodized silver. So maybe the bare ano. What do you think, Derek?
I think bare ano, you can't go wrong with.
Done. Let's install it. So we're in the middle of installing this, and sometimes there's a harness that kind of lives behind here. So the best thing is just kind of like tuck it down or push it. There's plenty of slack. So just something you should know. And then you can at least get this guy to actually fit, like this groove right here has to fit around the channel. Then you know you did it right. So obviously this modification is super easy to do. I mean, we're talking like 5-10 minutes tops. So something that you can just do for fun. And I think for us, it's gonna be a good way to introduce like us to at least get in the habit of working on the car. We brought it in, let's do one small improvement and then go from there. And obviously we bought a lot of maintenance stuff. So it's kind of good that we kind of start in the engine bay area. This is a good way for us to at least get to know the car, you know? You know what's so funny is that we're gonna have to tell them that we're gonna have to undo this just to do everything that we're about to do. All right, so that was easy enough. We will obviously have to undo that because we want to start with the cooling system on this car. So CSF was nice enough to give us their E36 radiator. So aluminum, obviously it's gonna be a little bit more efficient. But we also got the usual BMW stuff that we're gonna have to do while we're in here anyway, right? So you got your gaskets, you got your water pump, plugs, some belts. You know, really what people start doing right when they get a car usually is they start modifying it. You should always take a second to at least do some basic maintenance, especially for BMWs. It's always the same stuff, vacuum leaks, gaskets. Nothing too exciting, oil change stuff, air filter, but that's really the right way to start. We also have some really cool, you know, aesthetic stuff that we're gonna do as well. A lot of work, so let's keep going.
Not bad, but we're servicing.
So keeping with the theme that we've been doing these little easy wins to get us going, working on the car, we're gonna go ahead and swap out these mirrors. You know, these are really early models. This kind of got that M3 style. So another really quick, easy win. We just wanna get in the habit of actually just working on the car, making progress today. How you start to take this thing off to get to the bolts to actually install the mirror is that there's gonna be two clips right here. You're gonna insert a flat screwdriver from the top right here, and that's gonna pop this first one out. You're gonna keep pushing down, it'll pop the second one out, and then you can kind of see the whole thing actually slides up and out. So pull it like that and up, and the whole thing will come out. So that's how you do that. That'll expose the 3 bolts, 10 millimeters to swap this out. Unplug this connector. That's pretty clear. I mean, look at that, huh? Looks good. Same connectors, plug and play. Can't get any easier than that.
How much horsepower do you think you gain from the Aero?
It's the confidence, you know, it's the confidence that it gives you for that extra 5. So the hardware is provided, obviously, but notice the length of ratchet that I'm using. Very demure. Very demure. A little bit, just a flick of their wrist. Huge difference. Huge difference. I'm sure that one's more aerodynamic too, but still, aesthetically, really cool mod. Doesn't take too long. Let's do the other side. All right, we're gonna keep going with this theme of just get some small stuff done. And we're really excited about this new wing that we had developed. So we already started kind of drilling and mocking this up. So we're gonna go ahead and just finish that install before it goes on the rack, get our mini wing in. That won't be a bad day. I mean, that means we did the radiator brackets, the mirrors, and the wings, kind of get us used to, like I said, working on this thing. So let's do it. So we kind of developed this with in mind that people might want different heights. So the way it works is basically it's kind of got like a step riser, kind of like that. So if you wanted to run a lower version of the wing like that, or if you wanted the risers, you just put those on there. I kind of like the tall version, but we'll mock both up and see what they look like. I'd recommend doing a center drill first after you've marked your holes. Either use Dicom or some sort of other clay, blue tape, anything to basically mark where you're gonna drill. Then I would use a small drill bit. Doesn't really matter as long as it's basically smaller than a 1/4 inch, because 1/4 inch is gonna be your final size. The studs and hardware that we provide are 6 millimeter, so a 1/4 inch drill bit will actually allow for a little bit of tolerance and a little bit of forgiveness when you come to drill. Use a countersink or something like that to make sure that you get rid of all the edges and burrs. So we drilled the first 2, we're gonna do the same thing for the back. We can then mock this up to the trunk, and then from there, if we like how that works, we'll take everything off and actually bolt the risers. That's what these 2 holes are for. Those are actually provided hardware, M61, and they hold on those risers, and then the wing holds on to that. Let's do it. So we thought of something cool. Bria, we're gonna use every single time we do something on this thing, we're gonna write our notes on it.
Oh, on the car?
Because it'll become the livery template as far as instructions. Like dimensions of like, okay, LTW wing profile. So the idea is that the whole thing eventually is kind of like instruction themed, kind of like notebook.
College ruled?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. All 4 holes are drilled. The thing with the front versus the rear is the front, you can really get to it here. Obviously we gotta clean that burr, but it's the back that kind of like, you know, there's really not any room to get to it. So what I would recommend is actually just kind of cutting that so you have access to it. Otherwise, you're really gonna have a hard time, you know, getting in there and tightening it. There's obviously multiple ways you can mount it, but just so you know, like at least when you're aware, when you come to install this, that this is gonna be something that you might have to address. And if you're not okay with cutting up your trunk, this mod might not be for you. Picasso. All right, so now that we got the holes drilled in the car and we've cut our clearance holes, you kind of need to decide what size you want to do here, because you kind of need to mount these risers on first if you're going to run the high version of this. If not, you're still going to have to mount the lower part of the wing, these 2, to here. So this is kind of when you got to decide. We're going to go ahead and mock up both, but the order remains the same. You got to put it together first, then you mount the whole thing as a unit on the car. So how it works is you're going to have this type of flat hardware, and that's basically what bolts this riser to here. You're gonna see a clearance hole, and there's gonna be a nut that's actually embedded in the wing. You're gonna tighten these on both ends first. If you were not gonna use this, it would be basically still the same process, but you don't use this, and it gets bolted directly using the smaller hardware, like that. So we'll do both so you guys can see. So this setup is without the risers, uses the hardware that's the shorter one. And you're basically gonna tighten everything here. Use blue Loctite on all this stuff. Tighten everything down. All right, so let's mock it up in low mode. So if you're gonna use the risers, obviously you're gonna bolt all those hardware down, the longer hardware. Use blue Loctite, that way it doesn't come loose. Then you can mount this one on, still using the short hardware as if you were gonna bolt it straight to this. And it just lines up. You got these little circle dowel things that will line up for you. And it's one of those things that if you don't like the seams and the lines, you know, you could always have your body guy blend them in. That's might be what we do. So always an option. All right, let's get it on the car. All right, so it's pretty much stock. Air conditioning works, which is cool.
Yeah.
Blown suspension, failing clutch fan.
No.
Needs maintenance. But manual, which is cool. Obviously missing door panels. Very similar to our first car, actually. Unexplained noises. Foot down. Oh my God. Okay, let's not do that again. Let's see how it handles. Okay, well, it's a start. $600 running car with air conditioning. It's not bad. We'll make you beautiful, don't worry. So there it is. Not bad for day one. And now we'll get on the lift and start teardown. First, we're gonna see if it can do a burnout. Was that one tire?
I think so.
That was humiliating.